Let me tell you something real. Most people don't fail because they're not talented. They fail because they don't believe before they see it. They're waiting on proof. They're waiting on results. They're waiting on somebody to clap, somebody to approve, somebody to say, yeah, now you're ready. But belief doesn't work like that. Belief shows up first. Belief walks into the room before confidence. Belief moves when there is no guarantee. You've got to understand, if you only believe when things are going good. That's not belief, that's convenience. Real belief shows up when the numbers don't make sense, when the door hasn't opened yet, when nobody's calling your phone and you still wake up saying, I know who I am. See, every breakthrough you admire started as something invisible. Nobody believed in it because nobody could see it. And that's the problem. People trust what they can touch, but greatness lies in what you can imagine. You've got to see yourself winning before you ever win. You've got to feel it before it ever becomes real. That vision in your head, that's not random, that's not luck. That's a preview, but a preview only matters if you trust it enough to act on it. You're not crazy for believing in something nobody else understands. You're early, and being early feels lonely. Being early feels uncertain. Being early makes people question you. But if you quit because they don't see it yet, you'll never become what you were meant to be. The world rewards those who move with conviction, not those who wait for permission. You don't need everybody to believe. You need to believe. And listen, belief isn't loud all the time. Sometimes belief is quiet. Sometimes belief is just you getting up again when you're tired. Sometimes belief is showing up when your confidence is low. Sometimes belief is saying, I don't have it all figured out, but I'm not stopping. That's what separates people who make it from people who talk about it. One group waits for evidence. The other creates it. You've been asking for a sign, but you are the sign. The fact that the dream won't let you go, the fact that it keeps pulling on you even after setbacks, even after failure, that's the signal. That's telling you there's more in you. But nothing changes until you stop doubting the vision and start trusting yourself enough to move. Nobody handed belief to the people you admire. They chose it. They chose to stand on faith when facts weren't friendly. They chose to keep pushing when results were slow, and eventually the evidence caught up. It always does. But it never comes before belief, it follows it. So don't wait for proof to start acting like who you're becoming. Walk like it, work like it, show up like it, because when you believe first, the world eventually has no choice but to believe too. Let me be honest with you, the biggest battles you're fighting right now are not happening out there. They're happening in your own head. It's that voice that shows up when you're tired, when you fail, when things don't move as fast as you planned. That voice that says, maybe you're not built for this, maybe you should slow down, maybe this dream is too big. And if you don't learn how to silence that voice, it will talk you out of everything you were born to become. Believing in yourself means you don't give doubt a microphone. You acknowledge it, but you don't obey it. See, doubt is normal. Fear is normal. Even uncertainty is normal. What's not normal is letting those emotions make decisions for your life. Strength doesn't mean you never feel weak. Confidence doesn't mean you never feel afraid. It means you move anyway. It means you show up anyway. It means you don't wait until your emotions line up. You line your emotions up with your commitment. Because if you only act when you feel good, you'll quit the moment things get uncomfortable. The truth is, nobody has it all together. The people you admire, the ones you look up to, they questioned themselves too. They just didn't let those questions stop them. They didn't let one bad day convince them they had a bad life. They didn't let one mistake define their entire future. They understood something powerful. The voice inside you will either push you forward or pull you back, and you decide which one it becomes. You've got to start talking to yourself differently. You can't keep rehearsing your fears and expect courage to show up. Every time you say, "I can't," you're training your mind to quit early. Every time you say, "I'm not ready," you delay your own growth. But every time you say, "I'm learning, I'm improving, I'm still standing," you take control back. You don't need perfect words, you need intentional ones. And listen, silencing doubt doesn't mean waiting until it disappears. It means acting while it's still there. Doubt doesn't leave because you feel stronger. It leaves because you prove it wrong. You prove it wrong by showing up again, by putting in the work again, by refusing to fold just because it got hard. Every rep you push through, every late night you survive, every moment you don't quit, you're building evidence against doubt. Some days, belief will feel loud. Other days, belief will feel like discipline. It'll feel like getting up when you don't feel motivated. It'll feel like doing the work when nobody's watching. That's where real confidence is built, not in applause, but in consistency. Not in hype, but in habits. So the next time that voice tells you you're not enough, remind it how far you've already come. Remind it that you're still here. Remind it that quitting is not an option. You don't silence doubt by waiting for it to be quiet. You silence it by moving so boldly that it has nothing left to say. Let me remind you of something. You are not disqualified because of where you've been. Too many people carry yesterday like a life sentence, like one mistake, one bad decision, one failure has the final word on who they can become. But your past is not a prison, it's a classroom. Everything you went through was shaping you, strengthening you, teaching you what you needed to survive what's ahead. Believing in yourself means you stop letting old chapters talk louder than the future you're trying to build. You didn't lose time. You gained experience. You didn't fall behind. You were being prepared. The struggle didn't break you. It revealed you. And if you're still standing after everything you've been through, that's not an accident. That's proof there's something inside you that refuses to quit. Most people let their history define their limits. You've got to let it sharpen your focus instead. See, failure only becomes permanent when you stop. Until then, it's just feedback, it's information, it's correction. But if you keep replaying what went wrong, you'll never have the energy to build what's right. You can't drive forward while staring in the rearview mirror. At some point, you've got to forgive yourself, release the guilt, and decide that your future deserves more attention than your regrets. The truth is, nobody starts clean, nobody starts perfect. Every strong person you admire has a story they don't post, a chapter they had to survive quietly. What separates them is not a flawless past, but a relentless decision to move forward anyway. They didn't wait to feel worthy, they decided they were worth the work. They didn't let shame keep them small, they let growth make them stronger. You are not behind. You are on time for your life. The pressure you felt, the delays you hated, the setbacks you questioned, they were developing patience, discipline, and resilience. And those qualities don't come from comfort. They come from struggle. You needed what you went through so you could handle what you're walking into next. Stop telling yourself you missed your chance. As long as you have breath, you have opportunity. As long as you're willing to learn, you can still rise. Your past can explain you, but it does not get to control you. That part is up to you. So don't use yesterday as an excuse to quit today. Use it as fuel. Use it as motivation. Let it remind you how much you've already survived. Because the same strength that carried you through your worst days is the same strength that's going to carry you into your best ones. Here's the truth. You're already betting on something every single day. The question is, are you betting on fear, on comfort, on excuses, or are you betting on yourself? Because believing in yourself isn't something you say when you're motivated. It's something you prove with your actions when motivation disappears. It's a daily decision, a choice you make when nobody's watching, when it would be easier to quit, when the results are slow and the road feels long. See, discipline is belief in work clothes. It's belief showing up early. It's belief staying late. It's belief doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. Anybody can believe when things are easy. Anybody can talk confidence when the path is clear. But when it gets uncomfortable, when you're tired, when you're doubting, when the sacrifice starts to cost you, that's when belief gets tested. And that's when most people fold, not because they can't do it, but because they won't commit to themselves. Betting on yourself means you stop waiting for rescue. You stop expecting someone else to validate you, save you, or carry you. You take ownership. You accept that this is your life, your calling, your responsibility. No more excuses. No more blaming the past, the system, or the timing. When you bet on yourself, you decide that no matter how hard it gets, quitting is not on the table. And listen, there will be days you stand alone, days when nobody claps, days when people doubt you, question you, maybe even walk away. That's part of the process. Belief doesn't always feel supported. Sometimes it feels lonely, but solitude builds strength. Standing alone teaches you how to stand firm. And if you can stay committed when you don't have an audience, you'll be ready when the spotlight finally comes. Every small action matters, every rep, every early morning, every time you choose growth over comfort, you're telling yourself, I'm worth the effort. And the more you keep that promise, the stronger your confidence becomes, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need guaranteed outcomes. You just need consistency. You just need the courage to keep showing up. Because when you bet on yourself long enough, the odds start to shift. The work compounds, the belief deepens. And one day, what used to feel impossible starts to feel inevitable. So choose yourself today. Choose the grind. Choose the growth. Choose the version of you that refuses to settle. Because when you commit to yourself fully, there's no limit to what you can become.